there! So what we're going to do today is learn how to set up your own WeakAuras for your Balance Druid from start to the end. I actually recently made a guide for Balance Druid rotation and you guys gave me a lot of love for that, so thank you. And that's why I decided to make this additional guide to help you actually set up your WeakAuras so you can have an easier time playing. In case you were here before, you may have seen my own WeakAuras, but for the purposes of this video, I actually deleted all of them so we can make them together. So the first thing you really want to do is obviously download your WeakAuras, and you can do that through, I don't know, CurseForge or any sort of add-on manager that you use. You can also download it manually if you handle your add-ons that way, and once you've installed it, you're gonna see an icon. It looks like this. It looks like a little, I don't know, foot or a shoe or whatever, but yeah, you want to open it, and now we are going to start setting things up. First, I'm gonna turn off all this stuff that I have loaded because we're gonna start from the very beginning. I have a few, you know, disclaimers or whatever to make. First of all, I have this Starfall duration tracker, and it's not mine, it's Sin's, and I downloaded it from wago.io. And basically all of these little WeakAuras that are not mine, I will leave the links to them in the description so you can download them for yourself. But today I will help you actually make the core ones that I use that I think will be really helpful, especially if you're new to the class or if you just want simple WeakAuras and not something that involves everything and anything that the class has to offer. I'm a huge believer in WeakAuras being really simple and only having the core abilities shown, because I know that the human brain works in a way that if it sees like a lot of information on screen, it starts believing that none of them really matter. So what we're gonna do is we're only going to have the abilities on screen that actually do matter. If you're not like a 1% of players who's going for high you know, ratings, mythic rating, heroics, whatever, then you want to track all your cooldowns, and if you're able to do that, then that's great. But most of my guides are really focused and oriented towards newer players, and sorry about the barking, I have a dog and my dog doesn't seem to care about the fact that we're doing a guide. There are also other things that are not mine. There is the Shadowlands trinkets. So if you turn this on, you can see a bunch of trinkets that you may or may not have, and you can toggle. Basically, if you expand this list, you can toggle which ones you want showing and which ones you don't. I only want one of them, so I will just hide all of them. And since I do a lot of PvP on this character, or at least that's what I'm gearing it for, because I'm not geared yet. Basically, I just want to track the Aspirant's Medallion, which is a PvP trinket, and I have it around here. So we're gonna keep that one. And I will just hide the rest. Also, from time to time I use this enemy cast bar, and it pretty much looks like this. So you have the interruptible spells and non-interruptible spells over here. If that's something you want to have, you can also download that one. And another thing that I downloaded, and this is something you can make yourself, I just downloaded it because it was easier. Basically, it's a Covenant signature ability. So depending on which Covenant you are, it's going to be tracking different things, and for me it actually tracks the Vial of Serenity, and it shows me like how many charges I have, when I can use it, and stuff like that. So if you're into that kind of thing, you can have it. Okay, so we're gonna move on and actually create a group for your Balance Druid. Basically, the things that you see here, they are called groups, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna go like New Aura, and you're going to choose the group. It's called advanced. Basically, it's in the advanced option, but it really isn't. So we're gonna call it Balance. Oh, sorry. We're gonna call it Balance Druid. Okay, there we go. And I will just move the shadow and cooldown here, even though I use it for my Feral Druid as well. But I'll talk about Feral Druid in another guide. And you can see it on screen here. Basically, it gets tracked along with the WeakAuras that I downloaded. So now you have your group, and what you want is all of these abilities to actually belong to a group. We're going to be focusing on this group, the Balance Druid one. So the first thing that I'm going to be showing showing you today is how to track your dots. We're going to go into new aura and we're going to choose this one from template. So I'll be showing you the simplified version of how you can make these weak auras for yourself. You want to pick the progress bar. You can choose between horizontal and vertical. I prefer horizontal ones because it's just a lot easier for me to process my dots and everything that I do when things are horizontal. My brain just doesn't do vertical. So the first one that we're gonna go for is Moonfire, and Moonfire is something you want to track on your target, and that's why it is a debuff. So you're gonna find it in the debuff section and you're gonna click on Moonfire. What we're gonna pick is show only if debuffed. So basically you're not gonna be able to see that cast bar if your target doesn't have Moonfire applied to it. So that's something you want to do for all your dot trackers. And I'm gonna choose the color that just kind of sort of reminds me of Moonfire. I think this one is decent. And maybe you know this from my previous guides, maybe you don't, but I always remove the background color because I think it's way too ugly not to. Okay, so here we have the Moonfire bar, and I'm gonna put it here because I want you to be able to see it as I'm setting it up. What you really want to do, especially if you're a beginner, but you know, I think it's convenient to have it anyway, is to have your icon showing so you know which spell it actually relates to. And I always move my icons to the left side, so this is the way I like them. And I tend to use Banto bars rather than Blizzard bar textures. I think they're a little bit prettier. And I like just keeping it as a default this way. Down there you can change the color of your text, or you can change the size of your numbers, the fonts and everything. I sometimes do, sometimes don't. I have already like too many things on my screen that are clogging it up, so I think that increasing the font is not really a good idea for me, but you can do it. You can do it here in like the format options, but for now I'm not gonna mess with it. We made the Moonfire one and we're gonna create a new bar, and we're gonna go for progress bar again, so horizontal, another debuff, and what you're gonna be tracking is Sunfire, and Sunfire is your second most important dot that you want to be tracking as a Balance Druid, and we're gonna do the same stuff. So we're gonna have our icon showing in the left side, and also I want to see Moonfire because I want to be able to position Sunfire in a way that it looks at least remotely similar to the Moonfire one. We're gonna change the style, and most importantly we're gonna change the color as well, so it can kind of sort of remind us of the spell that we're casting. We're removing the background, so I think this is actually fine. This is pretty decent. So we have our two dots here. So here you have your target dummy, and I have my Moonfire and Sunfire bound on 1 on 2, and as you can see I can target different minions, and on each one I can apply the Moonfire and Sunfire, and when you switch the target you're gonna see how much of your dot is there left on that particular target. So I'm basically just alternating between the target. What I'm also going to show you is how to actually track your cooldowns. So we're going to open the WeakAuras again, and we're going to go for new aura, and this time we're also going to choose the template, but we're going to go for the icon, and let's go for default. There are two that I want to show you, but of course you can have more. These are just the ones that I think will be suitable for most players, but of course if you want to track something different, now you're gonna know how to make your own weak aura. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna track this solar beam, which is in the abilities category. So you want to scroll down and you'll find it here. Okay, so what you want to do is always pick the basic show on ready. This is what I do for all my stuff. I don't like the icons basically being shown on my screen if the cooldown is not available. Once I have a clear screen, I know that I basically popped all my cooldowns, that I have nothing more to use. And I think for most players that is just something that works for them. So I highly advise you to do the same thing. I'm just gonna move this here because I added some new icons and now this one is messing with my other stuff. So we're gonna go back to our solar beam. Basically this is the icon, and I do this differently for each class that I play, but usually I try to keep it similar to the stuff that I already have on screen. So I already have the medallion, and that's why I'm just going to reduce the size of this one. I'm not going to use the menu in actual WeakAuras, but you can do it here. There's the positioning settings, and you can, I don't know, you can choose how wide your icons are gonna be. So this is just an example. I'm gonna put it back to 52 because that's currently working for me. Okay, and now as you can see, we aligned it to 48.8 for the width and for the height. So it's right here, and I'm not gonna have it glow because when you play Balance Druid, there's a lot of things glowing already. So I don't want another thing that is just going to glow on my screen. But there's an option for that, and basically it looks like this, so you can turn it on if you want to. Okay, so we have our solar beam, and now I'll just show you how this works. Basically we have the cooldown available, and if you wanna use it, and once you use it, it's gonna disappear, and once the cooldown is available again, it's just going to be shown on screen, and that is pretty much it. So apart from solar beam, you wanna be tracking something that heals you, and for my particular case, that's renewal. It largely depends on which talents you're using, if you're talented into this, or if you're talented into, I don't know, your Sarah's gift or whatever, which gives you access to more heals that you want to possibly be tracking. I chose renewal, and as these are my PvP talents for battlegrounds and for arena, I choose Guardian Affinity and not Resto, so I don't have rejuvenation or Swiftmend or whatever. I track renewal, and you can pretty much track any of your heals in this particular way. So what we're gonna do is enter WeakAuras and add another icon here, and I'll just choose the default size because that's what I've been doing for most of these icons. I usually reduce their size, but I don't know, like I like my Balance Druid setup in this way. You're also going to be able to find that in your abilities. So let's go and find renewal. Where is it? Okay, there we go. Okay, renewal, and we're also going to be showing it whenever it's ready. And when you're setting up your WeakAuras, you always want all of them showing, or at least the ones that are affecting your position for your future icons. You want to be able to see everything you have so you can align it properly. And I think I'll just be using the 48.8 here. Okay, 48.8, and here also 48.8 because this is the size that I used for my previous icon, and as I said, I like them to align as much as they can. Okay, so here we have the renewal, and yeah, I think this is good enough. Okay, so basically if you want to test it, okay, now I just pressed it before testing it, so you can see that it's not available anymore. But whenever your renewal is available, it will just show on screen, just like solar beam that is no longer available, and that is pretty much it. What I'm not gonna be showing you how to make, because I already have it made, is the Shadowman. Since I'm a night elf, that is my racial, and as you can see, when I use Shadowman, it disappears. So if you want to have this, you can make it yourself, or if you have another racial that you want to be tracking, you can find them by going into WeakAuras. You can click on New Aura, go to From Template, and then the icon, Default, and here you're gonna have your list of abilities, and when you scroll down, there's gonna be like resources, shapeshift, PvP, whatever. So under the general row, and I'm not sure where it's gonna be positioned for you, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be in the same place. So you can, depending on which race you're playing, you can track different things, and yeah, it's pretty convenient. there's something really important that you want to be tracking if you're playing your Balance Druid, and that is your Eclipse. Now, some people have a natural talent to know when they're in solar eclipse, when they're in lunar, and I'm not one of these people, so I do have to have my solar and my lunar trackers, and you're gonna find both of these in buffs. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna choose solar first, and we want to show it only if it's buffed. So only if we're buffed, this is going to be showing. And I usually have it positioned here, like right above the dot trackers, like this. And I keep the default size of the icon because I really need to be able to see this. So yeah, you can have it reduced if you want to, but for me the default version is just fine. Okay, so that's one of those. We have the solar one, and we are also going to create the lunar one. Position it according to the solar eclipse, and I like it where it is right now, but I'm just gonna put this one down a little bit, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with this positioning. As you can see, whenever we enter the solar eclipse, we have the solar eclipse icon showing, and whenever we're in lunar, we have the lunar. For these purposes, I'm going to use the incarnation chosen of a loon, so you can kind of see how they align. So basically these are all our cooldowns that we're tracking. There's the interrupt, there's the renewal, you can see them kind of disappearing from the screen. There's the trinket, it doesn't disappear, but it's basically showing me how long until my next cooldown is available. I don't have my vials, so you can't see those, but I do have Shadowlands. So now you can see what the whole UI looks like. And by the way, if you're wondering about my other add-ons, I actually made a PvP guide for beginners where I went through this whole UI from a PvP perspective, but I analyzed everything that you can see on screen, so you can check out that video as well if you're into it. If you really like my WeakAuras, if you want to have the icons positioned in the same way, if you want to have your interrupts and everything just the way it is on my screen, well, not right now, but you know, the ones that I showed you, what you can do is you can download this whole string, and you can find it in the description. There's a Google Docs link that you can click on, and it's going to open a gigantic amount of letters or whatever, and you want to copy all those letters and import them into WeakAuras, and you're going to do that by clicking onto WeakAuras and clicking import here. So you can paste the text below. It kind of looks like this. This is the Covenant signature ability paste, not the one that you'll be seeing, but basically this window is going to open, and you want to click on import as copy or whatever, and you're gonna have the same exact auras that I have. So if that's something that's convenient to you, you can use it. It's completely free. Question for you: do you have any questions, any comments, maybe any suggestions when it comes to this WeakAuras setup, or maybe some requests about some of the specs that you're playing that you want to see the WeakAuras for? If you do, leave them in the comments, and I'll see what I can do. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it useful, if you now know how to set up your WeakAuras, and sorry about the dog again, I'll leave this video a like so more people can actually find this video and get to it and learn from it and take advantage of it. And if you haven't subbed yet to the channel, now is a good time to do that, as more balance guides are going to be coming soon, and I do these WeakAuras guides from time to time. I've already done them for Affliction Warlock, for Destruction Warlock. You can find them in some of my playlists as well if you're into it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and have fun playing your Balance Druid. I'll see you in my next video, and bye bye.